This is day 3 of my 3-section staff stuff. I was just kind of using this as an excuse or a distraction to mostly talk about the breathwork stuff. Essentially by like day 3 after I've done something, I've basically seen all there is to like see about it, and essentially like mastered the art, and that's just because I've mastered breathing, and so everything is just one thing to me. So I just kind of have to go through whatever, and then it's all breathing, right? So yeah, 3-section staff, man. More like hand catapult, right? Hand catapult flail, if you're gonna name this thing accurately. And so what I'm doing is essentially, this is letting my body posture be anything and still get the advantage of a two-handed weapon, right? Like a two-handed weapon is gonna be what lets me like this, on the other hand, lets you, your body can be in almost any position and getting two-handed leverage, right? One-handed would be like, oh, I can't, my wrist isn't really strong enough to like whip this thing around one-handed, but with two, and then so I'm only at a point where I can perceive like that, and then I lose the connection. The system becomes one. But if I really wanted to practice, it's, I'm moving that front flail around with the back one. Right? And so that lets you get two-handed power with one-handed mobility, right? Like with two hands, you're kind of and that other hand doesn't have to be as like choked up, right? And so I'm kind of just kidding about mastering stuff. Obviously, like if I spent a couple years at this, right? And everything that I'm talking about is just absolutely second nature, the weapon becomes very dangerous, but at the same time, it's like swimming, interacting with your body at this level, the same way that, you pick up this 3-second staff and you go, oh, it's got 3 sections, it's not one thing, unless you move it in such a way that it becomes one thing. And not only is it one thing, but it's one thing with very squirrely mechanics, because it's got a very dynamic like lever fulcrum system going on. So that's the same thing that you're going to get like moving your body, and you want to be able to find the kinetic chain, like find chunks of the kinetic chain, big chunk here, big chunk here, here's some more chunks, and then how can they move each other? This is obviously like obvious to some people, and this happens fluidically. Like water, if you get into your consciousness of just being present, of being focused, the way that water moves is like when your mind moves water, it is automatically maximizing the lever fulcrum system to a degree that would put any mechanical system to shame. And that's just called floating. Like floating is the mechanical system of water. It's so dynamic and everything, it actually generates lift. So when you shift your consciousness into the breath, into the water, that's just riz. It's just talent. You're just doing everything that I would ever care to talk about in these videos. But, ultimately the water only knows to do what it's like seen. So it's kind of like you have to understand it at the physical level to have a concept that type of like force generation is even possible. And that type of fulcruming is even possible. Anyway, that's all.
Into school to get Milo, and there's a mom right behind me, so I like walk into the classroom and don't close the gate, and then Missy's like, you need to close the gate. I'm like, there's a parent right here, like, you want me to like shut it behind her?
Who yelled at you?
Mia? Yeah.
So that's why you're not friends?
And then I like I was like, okay, whatever, I like just kind of pass it off, and then I like put Milo on the table to like put his shoes on, and she came over, she took Milo off the table and put him in the chair and was like, we don't sit on tables in this classroom. And I said, okay, Milo, let's go. And we just walked out, and I was holding his shoes. Like, it's just like very annoying.
You know how like I used nunchucks to go to an extra dimensional space?
Yeah, I know.
Right? Okay, so check this out. So I'm just going to be passive here. I'm going to go into this dimension, which is separate from this dimension, and then I'm causing all of this with this butt stick, right?
Butt stick?
The butt stick.
Okay.
Right? This is the chuck,
Uh-huh.
the nun, and the butt stick.
Okay.
So I'm in this extra dimensional space here with the butt stick.
It's good, yeah.
Right? But so then I can start to move my momentum into the butt stick. So I'm manipulating the flail from 2 dimensions away.
You want to stay?
Sure.
And then what?
What?
What do you do when you're in the other dimension?
I don't know. You just chill. I think it's like a baby just discovers different dimensions and starts to like crawl into it, and then if it hangs out in that dimension long enough, it starts walking in that dimension,
Yeah.
and then within that dimension is
Strength.
7-Eleven.
Stronger.
7-Eleven, hookers, guns,
Skills.
child molesters are in this extra dimensional space they can walk into. W-2s.
Yeah, pay my taxes.
So there's really nothing but, there's probably nothing but problems in the higher dimensional spaces.
Did the kids come over today?
No. They're at school.
It looks like the writing on the whiteboard is different.
What?
I said it looks like the writing on the whiteboard is different.
Maybe you're shifting realities. You keep like popping up in a different kitchen.
Yeah, like everything's so skewed. Love you, Milo. Don't be sad. We can do whatever you want. We can go to bed. It's too rainy in the Makawak Forest.
Oh, you're getting to hold on to two sections of a whip, right? And then the whip is transmitting a wave, and since you're holding two sections, you are actually the wave.
Yeah.
So like manipulating an object from like fifth dimensional space is the equivalent of becoming a wave. Okay.
You have to meet her, right?
I don't know. I think this might be the coolest weapon. I've never done a whip, but a whip with lac. This has everything.
Did you order one yet?
A whip?
Yeah.
No.
Where are you going?
I guess if I was gonna do it, I should get one of those fire ones.
What's a fire whip?
It just holds kerosene.
I think those are called,
Those are fire whips. It's like a bullwhip.
oh.
It'll snap, like, so it does what a whip does.
But what are the ones that are for fire spinning called?
Those are just fire whips.
No.
That's the name.
I'll look it up.
The thing where they go like, whoopsh.
That's a whip.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Like the rope. The rope with the fire.
Oh, that's a rope dart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rope dart's cool. I guess that would be cool.
Fire.
Guys like wrap it around their head and stuff.
Yeah, I learned how to do that.
They can like hit. You can like get a feel for aiming it off of like any like. Yeah, man, you're feeling the rotation, and then you're able to like whip the body part, and like actually they just hit like pots and stuff, or people's heads.
I hung out with a circus
You hung out with a circus
group.
troupe.
Yeah.
I also hung out with like circus acrobatic people, and it made me feel like I was disabled.
I was definitely the least talented person.
What?
I was definitely the least talented person.
Yeah. No, I like went swimming with them, and like I could hang, and then we would just be like hanging out in the house, and they're like casually doing like
Back hamstrings.
yeah, but just everything, and then you're like, and it's like girls doing it. So I'm like a dude like trying to like hang out, like, and then they're just what's that called? Like mogging. They were movement mogging me. And then I tried to be like, hey, I'm really smart though.
What's mogging?
What?
What's mogging?
I think mogging is like I think it's like it's slang. It's new slang.
Or what?
Like if you show up and you're way sexier than somebody else, I think that means you're like mogging them. I think it means like if you outdo. I think it's outdoing somebody.
Oh, okay.
Like if you show up and some girl's way hotter than you, she mogged you.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know the slang.
I think. I think.
Can you tell?
I tried to breathe alone, and then I got terrified. I can't do it alone. It's too scary to go into the depths. It's funny if somebody actually, if you were to teach somebody how to breathe online or whatever, or how to go into their consciousness, it's the same thing as like watching a video documentary on like deep sea diving.
Yeah.
Like you just go out and you like die or go insane. I think that's why the church tells people to not do the silent stuff without like a guide. Because it's like the same as swimming out into the ocean. It's like it's not fake. Yeah, you're going into water with actual depth.
If you're experienced, you can't do it.
No, I think you could at any point. I think you could at any point. But if somebody doesn't intuitively like know how to do it, if they're like, hey, I'm like reading this stuff, or
Just hold their breath till they pass out.
yeah, if they don't know that they're entering a real terrain or something and they figure it out, it would be like a little kid wandering out into the ocean. Yeah, like if the wrong person picks up the stuff, it's like a toddler going into the waves, and they might be okay at a certain point, but then like some surge could come and